Okay, here's my next Codewars challenge. Again, I've not read into it. In fact, there's not much I can guess from here. Pete the baker. We need to define a function cakes that will accept one or more dictionaries, I guess. Oh no, okay. So this is what I want to be. This is my recipe, and then there's my stock, presumably, and then it tells me how many of the first thing I can do with the ingredients I have in the second thing, and it should be agnostic to what the ingredients can be. Ooh, I'm liking that. Um, Recipe, object, available ingredient, also an object. Well, what kind of object though? So in that instance, each is a dictionary. So wow, okay. So this is where having Python makes sense as opposed to the one where there were more the string ones that were better done with sed, but okay. Now this is where I'm gonna need to go and look up. So I'm gonna go to google.com and I'm going to go and look up library. Thank you. Docspython.org. Simple as that. I want to search. Is it iter keys? DictKeys. Oh, fair enough. Right. Returns a new view of the dictionary's keys. Let's try it here. Define a dictionary. It's going to be apples. Not sure what I'm doing. Some kind of strudel, apple stew, and then butter. Just apple and butter. Buttery apples. 50. I think it's in grams, right? So that's dictionary. Right, d.keys. It's a method. It's a method, obviously. Call the methods. And this is dict key type, but I can, for k in the dot keys space print bracket k bracket. I can iterate over it like I would do a list, right? It's just a certain type of iterable. So for each for ingredient in recipe dot interesting. I'm just working my way through the problem. I think the idea is that for each of the ingredients, recipe.keys, for each of those ingredients, um, I'm going to need to go and look up. Now, okay, does in work for if I do apples, the string apple in D? That's true, right? So I can check that there's certain keys in the dictionary. So if my ingredient is in the available, immediately, hold on, I'm just going to put a pass in here and put an else, and if an else, it's like return 0. Return as a statement, right? So the moment I find I have an ingredient in my recipe that's not in my stock, I can make 0 of the things. So I return 0. Right. Now, if the ingredient is in the available, I will integer divide, right? So I'm going to available, I'm making all of those noises, available square bracket ingredient. Is this the right syntax? Yeah, it is, right? So if I just like do D bracket apples, this is how dictionaries work. 2, right? So if the amount of the ingredient, okay. So what I want to do is I want to work out for each of the ingredient, the number I could make notionally is what's available divided by what's in the recipe for this ingredient, right? That's going to give me a number. Now, what I want is out of all of the numbers that for each of the ingredients we're looking at, I want the minimum of all of those that is non-zero. So I can initialize my thing at 0. Do we have is there a Python constant for infinity? Or like something extremely large? Python infinity, just like, wow, float in. It's a positive infinite integer, but they define it as a float. That's odd. Can I just do like I equal int? Is it capital? Oh, lowercase inf, fair enough. Okay, I equal float. This looks like a prank. Ah, inf, okay. Is I larger than 10? Yes, it is. Okay, so I've got infinity. That's grand. So I'm going to initialize my outside of my loop. I'm going to say the number of cakes. I assume the number of cakes I can make is essentially infinite. You'll see why later. And then I work, let's call this out for output. Then if the ingredient is available, I work out the number I could do. And I say if the number I could do is smaller than my current candidate output, then output becomes the number I can make, right? Because then that's the minimum. Essentially, it's going to be the smallest of those num that is through that list. Eventually, is infinity. So the first one is going to pick it up as it were because it's going to be smaller. So it's going to out is going to pick up the value of that number, and then it does that. I think that's about it. Let's see if it works. Well, this is awkward. None should equal 2. What kind of test are we looking at here? Cake recipe available. Where did it return none in the first one? Oh, yeah, of course. My bad. And once I've worked all of that out, I return as a statement out. Yeah, that's better. I always forget the sort of kind of basic things. Here we go. That worked for a couple of tests. Attempt it, and it worked. Good job. Take time to refactor comment my solution. I could comment it, all right? But I like to think it's kind of self-explanatory because it's Python, especially since I've worked for it. So yeah, my code is good as it is. I don't need to change anything. Thank you very much.